Man, dude, thank you for taking time. I love the music. I've gone back and listened to a couple things, and dude, there is so much to talk about right now, it seems like. And um, when this releases, it will be the day of the Mad God single release, January 19th. It is here. It is time, and dude. There's so many layers and so much to digest with this song, dude.
Thank
Um,
you, man. Thank you.
yes. It is theatrical, it is cinematic, it is dark. It is so much going on with it, man. How proud of you are of the single?
Tristan and I are really proud of this one. This was a special song for us. It was like, I don't know, the strangest thing. Like Tris just kind of came up with kind of the pretty much the instrumental side of it, and he sent it to me, and like all the vocal stuff's like right away. The most
Yes.
natural, easy song we've done. It has I mean, everything that you just said. All those kind of puzzle pieces are stuff that we
Yeah.
strive for. In all the songs, and this one it just came together like so easy, and it just was kind of had that. And there's like a magnificence to it, I guess, for us anyway. So we're so stoked on it.
It's like when you know, but how did you know that this song was perfect the way it is? Because I don't know if you're anything like me, but with me, when I do something, I'm such a perfectionist that like I will pick everything that I do apart with every fine-tooth comb that there is. I'll find something that I don't like in something that I do. I don't know, like what was it about this song that it's good and it was so easy?
It's a good question. I don't know how but we knew. That's my quote for the interview. But I think
Interview's
that
over. We
like
got it all. We're good.
yeah,
You know,
we're done.
we're
That's
good.
all we needed.
No, we're yeah.
um,
Go on,
no,
man.
I think
Yeah,
that
when you know, you know.
yeah, we've spent like over a year on like one song before, and I think that like looking back on like some of the songs, you can kind of work on a song forever, really, and
Mhm.
never ever finish it. You know, that one quote. It's like great art is never finished; it's only abandoned. I think, and we kind of
Yeah,
live by that a little bit. Like sometimes once they get to a point, you kind of got to just like let them go and then like see how how they live and if they're actually good or if you're just kind of crazy or if you're in your own head at the moment. But I don't know, that was one I think that it was like that's enough. Like we don't need to add anything else. And there wasn't really
mhm.
anything else that we thought we could make better. And I mean, like there always is. I was listening to the song actually yesterday and I was kind of like, oh, I wonder what it would have been like if there's a little bit more of this instead of a little bit of that. But
Yeah.
it's kind of like whatever, you just gotta send it out. When it's good enough, and you're like, okay, let's see, let's
Right.
learn from the whole second life of the song, which is like when it's actually out there and you can't change it
Mhm.
anymore.
Right. One thing that I think is really interesting is the title is Mad God, but you don't use that term anywhere in the song. It's not in the lyrics at all.
That's right.
It's a concept that the song is based around, which is really cool. Was that a conscious effort, or was it one of those things you sat down, you wrote the lyrics, the song is done, Mad God? Because I know it was inspired by them. A lot of it's inspired by the movie as well.
Yeah, so the Mad God being the title of the movie Mad
Mhm.
God, and then it was kind of the demo title of the song, but I don't know, the lyrics and everything kind of just it fit the theme so well, and it has this like, it's almost like this sort of snapshot in time or story about it's kind of a very like cynical kind of almost like nihilistic perspective on things. And then like kind of in the same with the movie, like that's like what Mad God means is it's like is God mad for creating these, dark situations and circumstances and stuff and like just that like not knowing thing. So the title still worked really great just because the theme was so inspired by the movie, so it still kind of worked. And the title is like really rad. But that was a conversation where like, do we keep it? It's already a movie, but it's kind of a
Right.
cool song title. And then we were like, you know what? Like let's do it. We'll see what happens.
Right. Well, one thing that I love about Two Shadows, and especially with this, is the imagery, not just with you guys personally and your attire and your gear and your appearance, but the art, the artwork, the whole
Oh,
package,
thank
the
you.
imagery I love the dark stuff. Like it's my favorite.
And
Um, and the artwork for the single is so, dude, it's fucking awesome.
oh,
Um,
thank you.
who, who who did it?
That was me predominantly, and then
Nice.
Chris involved. It was my hands that created it, I suppose.
Okay.
That took so long for us to come up with the concept. We made that one on tour, and we went through. We were spending days on just like ideas and trying to like start stuff, and it just was absolutely not happening at all. And then we eventually landed on the kind of the book thing going on. I added like the kind of weird colored creepy blood vessel-y vine things going. It was just kind of like weird, but it's really fun. I love doing all the single artworks. It's a fun project.
How important is the imagery of the thematical and conceptual imagery as the total package, and not just there's so many bands that have the same image that you guys have physically when you see them on stage and in their promo photos, but there's something lacking in other areas. But with you guys, it's everything. It's the full circle, the total package. How important is the art and the theme and the concept and the imagery overall outside of just what you see on stage?
I mean, it's pretty much as important as the music. Like all of the two shadows, everything. It's all of it's held to the same quality standard, and we're a very excuse me, a very visual band, and all from the stage costumes, the looks, on stage too, we have a bunch of props. Like we just put out our live video for Fading from Misery, and you can kind of see like a good image of the show there. And yeah, everywhere possible, like anything that has our touch or the Two Shadows experience, it's got to be at this bar. And yeah, we're a really visual band. We love the stuff. We love the art style, and we're trying to just make like as much of it anywhere we can as possible, I suppose.
Definitely. We're going on what 2 years since the release of the EP now, released in 2022. And I think, is
Oh
that wrong?
wow.
I
That's
know.
right. That's right. Yeah. It's a
Right.
misleading 2022 though, because it was like May 2022. So it's kind of
Yeah,
like a
so
year and a half, but I'm all like, wow, I can't believe it's settled.
yeah, we're close. Looking back at the EP now, because it was done before the pandemic, right?
Actually, nearly. It was only
Okay.
half done, and then we
Okay.
kind of like fully paused it. So
Okay.
I mean, yeah, it's what it is.
Gotcha, gotcha. Looking back at the final product though, that's an interesting point then. Like if it's not fully done before the pandemic, you take a pause, you finish it later on. When you take a look back at it now, how do you feel about it, and what do you think it says about you guys, not just as people, but as artists?
Oh, dang. Good question. Another good question. What does the EP say? Well, I don't know. I mean, it's the growth, obviously. I think that like, you're always putting your best thing out, and then you do that and you get a little bit better and you grow as a musician. Your flavor changes slightly, as you do.
Hmm.
But a lot of the songs were written with like a lot of other people. Like there used to be five
Hmm.
Two Shadows members, five
Really?
shadows, depending on how you look at it. Yeah, back in
Okay.
the early days it was. And then yeah, I think we just as soon as we like really went for it and started doing music super seriously, it got a lot tougher. And not,
Yeah.
I mean, only two of us survived through, but there's a lot of
Yeah.
those other
Yeah.
dudes on those songs, and it kind of actually it's funny less and less throughout the EP, in fact. But I don't know. I mean, that's the biggest difference to me is that there's a lot more writers on it. I think all the
Hmm.
new songs, like you're really just hearing me and Trist, and then there's also our
Okay.
producer Chris Binnerl. He's really great at stuff too. So you're
Yeah.
hearing him on there as well. But it's just
Yes.
different cooks in the kitchen, you
Mhm.
know.
Yeah.
But I think Chris and I have we've put in a lot of headway over the I guess years, dare I say,
Right.
dialing in, yeah, right, dialing in the sound to more what we want and kind of hear in our heads.
Mhm.
I think we're like closer to
Yeah.
that now, and still a lot of
Yeah.
experimenting and kind of different stuff. Like I mean, Mad God's a very different sounding song, so I've been
Mhm.
told. Just some of the stuff we
It
put out so
is.
far, which is cool.
It definitely
But
is. And now that you mention it, yeah, looking at the Boulevard of Broken Dreams video, there are a lot of you in the band in that point compared to now.
oh,
So,
and that's
is
not
that
even the
yeah,
original guys. Those are our
really?
touring musicians. Yeah, we still work.
Oh
Those
my
dudes are sweet. I just saw them. Well, I've been seeing them over
right,
the holidays, but
right.
yeah, older than those dudes.
Oh my gosh. That song. I'm very critical when it comes to covers. I don't always like covers because I feel like a lot of times bands will rely on a cover instead of their original material sometimes. And that is
Oh yeah,
not
no.
the case with you guys at all. Your original material is just as strong, if not stronger, than your cover is and the covers you've done. But
Oh,
I also feel like when it comes to a cover, if you don't make it your own and you just do the same style as the original, what's the point of doing the cover to begin with unless
yeah.
you make it your own? And dude, like you own like unless you know the lyrics like and know the Green Day version, you may not know that that's a cover. Obviously, it's a really well-known song, but you spin that song around so much and you reinvented that single. How proud of you are of that song and that single are you? Because and then the video is a whole other animal. We'll get to that, but the single itself, how proud of you are of what you did with that song.
Yeah, man, I'm really proud of it. Everybody over
Yeah.
here is super proud of it. Everything that you just said, it's like you do a cover and you can't just like pick it up and play it. You gotta, to
Mhm.
record a cover anyway, you gotta really add something, like throw something extra in there, or do something cool or that
Mhm.
people haven't seen. And like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. That was just, it was such a weird kind of, it was one of those like studio songs. You go into the studio and then like it just keeps changing and
Yeah.
evolving a lot. But that's why we really pushed it to do that. We wanted to like evolve it and make it as like weird and kind of almost like far from the original as we could.
You went
Hopefully that
dark.
it would sound good. Yeah, and gotta be dark. It's two shadows. So
Right, right.
but
The
yeah,
the video reminds me of Silent Hill. Was that something
that's
that you guys were doing too?
very much. That was like
Okay.
1000% the intention. So that's
Awesome.
good that you caught
Awesome.
that.
Yeah. From what I've read, you guys love the I don't want to. I don't want to. The term gothic is so overused, and I don't feel like is always used properly. But I've read that you guys really like the gothic. Um, oh God, what's the word? Just the gothic life and not life, but you know what I mean. Like,
Like culture, perhaps.
yes, culture. Yes,
Oh
that's
yeah,
the
yeah.
word. Um, what is it about that? And is there a difference between gothic movies and horror movies?
Um, I suppose so. I'm like not the greatest at defining all the stuff. So I don't know everything. I just kind of
Well, is there
like
a difference for you
really like
though?
it. But I'd say so. I mean, like maybe gothic is more of an umbrella term. Like horror is like a lesser tier than gothic, so it kind of fits under it, perhaps. So you can have
Hmm.
horror movies and then like gothic movies, but then you can have gothic horror as well.
Hmm. Right.
But I don't know, a lot of gothic stuff. It's mostly like from what you capture, what you see within. Like there's, I mean, the architecture is one thing, but then that kind of a lot of that
Yeah.
vampire stuff, and
And
then
the
you have movies like The
cinematography too,
Crow.
probably. The
Yeah, it's all the
cinematography and
vibe,
the yeah, that makes sense.
the
What are
vibe in
some
all areas.
movie wise? What are some of the ones that inspire you when it comes to sit down and writing your music? Because obviously Silent Hill inspired the video for Boulevard. Is does anything else really inspire you artistically when it comes to kind of film?
That's a good question. I think it's a lot of like what I've seen lately. Like I'm not like a huge movie guy. And then like if I'm gonna like draw inspiration from it, that's like it's pretty big move as with the song Mad God. That one was like pretty on purpose. And then like with Silent Hill in the video, it's pretty on purpose. So I don't know. I don't really like I guess look to movies a whole lot with inspiration. I don't know, it's a good question. Maybe I do and I just don't realize. That's funny. But I like The Thing a lot and I love
Yeah,
I don't know all that kind of what you call it, cosmic horror kind of stuff,
sure.
existentialism kind of movies. Like one I just
Okay.
watched American Psycho recently, and that one was like that left an impression. I could see something. I mean, Ice
Yeah.
Nine already did the American Psycho song,
Yeah,
but
they've
you
really
get the vibes of it.
Ice and Ant Kills. They've got the horror movie metal thing down
Oh,
pretty good right now. They've completely raised the bar.
yeah, that's
Dang.
right.
Um, last fall got you released Marionette with the Veer Union,
Mm,
which not the first time you guys have worked together. You guys have worked together a lot. You toured together. You know each other so well. Um,
yeah.
but it's very Marionette was very different than the music you guys had done together previously. Previously, stuff was a lot just, I guess, more in your face heavy. This was a little bit more Marionette. I feel
Mm.
like was maybe a little bit more. maybe industrial style metal, very
Yeah,
different. What is
absolutely.
it about the relationship with Crispin and Veer Union and all of those guys that just it works so well?
Well, why it works so well? That's another good question. I think it's because I mean, like you said, we spend so much time with them, and then like in the studio when we're working there, they're always there. And then like Crispin as well, he's taught me a lot of like singing stuff because when I first started working with them, like I was certainly not even anywhere close to as good at singing as I am now. So he's kind
Hmm.
of been, I guess, the closest thing to a singing mentor that I've had. So
Okay.
sonically, because they're involved enough, you can really hear it kind of in the instruments. Once the instruments are perfect, it's kind of like hard to tell what's going on. But like I think in the
Yeah.
singing world, when Crispin and I are both going, you can hear a lot of nuance going on just because of like the time, and then also literally like he's taught me a lot of stuff that he actually does himself. So then when we go in together, a lot of those same habits exist in me. If I had to guess, I haven't heard this personally, but that's got to be it. I don't know. It's got to be it.
Did you guys tour together or record or write and record
We
together
toured.
first? Toured?
We worked together first, and then
Okay.
we worked together, worked through the pandemic, and then we
Right.
toured together.
Okay. Does the repeated relationship, working relationship, does it go so well? And you kind of keep going back to that because I feel like it is hard to find a band that you mesh so ungodly well with on the road because you see each other so much. So it is one of those things where like, man, we toured together. It was amazing. We get together, we get along so well. Let's just gotta work with those guys more.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, yeah. Like I can't remember how the idea got brought up of doing another song with them because we already did one, so it wasn't like the
Mhm.
intuitive thing to be like, oh, let's do another song, like we'll
Right.
do another one. It was
Right.
kind of like I don't know, it just kind of got into talks, and it was just kind of like, yeah, let's do it. And Crispin, he was pretty involved in Marionette, so it felt like the right song to
Nice.
do that with, versus like Mad God. I feel like it might have been
Mhm.
like not fit quite right in Mad God, but in
Oh yeah.
Marionette fit right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then yeah, and I don't know, it's just kind of cool too because like when we did Scratching, that was kind of like when we just met them, like that was like the first song we put out and stuff. So we didn't really know them, and they kind of we did the song, and it was a huge like exposure boost for us because nobody knew who we were, and there's a lot of advantages to it. And then this one was almost like the for fun version, I
Right.
suppose.
That
Like
makes
okay, we'll
sense.
do it, but like now that we actually know each other, now let's do a song for real.
Right. Yep. I would still, I don't know if you agree, but I would still look at you guys as kind of a younger, newer band. I think next year will be 10 years, maybe, which,
Yeah, which is
yeah,
funny because it's like there's like 8 years of like off the grid activity, like a
yeah.
lot of what happened isn't like known or like doesn't really contribute to our current
Hmm.
like status, I suppose. So it's kind of weird
Yeah.
that we're 10. I mean, for Trist, we're definitely 10. I only joined the
Right.
band like 5 years ago.
Okay.
Still older than two.
Right. Um,
Yeah.
But you guys have collaborated with a lot of very, well-known established bands as well, not just Beer Union, but Righteous Vendetta. Those guys are some of the nicest guys you're ever gonna meet. Good God,
Oh
they're just,
yeah,
they're so nice. And then obviously Word
absolutely.
Alive. What is it about collaborating that you love so much, and do you like to collaborate? And what do you take away from it?
Oh, nice. It's funny, I'm not the biggest collaborator. I'm pretty picky.
Mhm.
Just I think the perfectionist in me maybe, or like,
I hear you there.
I'm like, oh, are they, there'll be this singer that's like 20 times the singer I am. I'm like, oh, are they good enough for the part? I'm like way too critical. So like,
The
we
same
get
way.
you
Yeah.
do, yeah, totally, right. So
Yep.
we get the best. That's the all
Yeah.
you'll ever see on a Two Shadows
Hmm.
collab. But yeah, it's also a really great thing for kind of the like the scene and the genre and stuff because it kind of puts your fans at each other. Like fans can discover other artists, and then like when they
Yeah.
hear someone like Telly from Word Alive doing like really dark Two Shadows song. People might be like, oh, yeah, they're like, oh, they're discovering Word Alive from Two Shadows, more like the other way around, of course.
Right. Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Yes.
you know,
Um,
what I take away, it's just really cool. It's a pretty surreal thing, especially, you know, it goes going back to Telly again, someone like Telly with like all that history, and he's like, you know, a real kind of defining person of the whole genre, and then he's like, yeah, singing a part that like I wrote, and it's just like, whoa, kind of makes
right.
your head spin, and you're like, holy, okay, this is real, you
Yeah.
know?
What are some of the coolest? Because if you're anything, I don't know if you're, I might be taking a stab at the dark here, but if you're anything like me, you like to find some of the not so well known places while you're out on the road and on tour, maybe some haunted places, maybe some dark places. Is there anything that anywhere you've gone on tour that really surprised you, or what are some of the coolest places you've seen and been to that maybe people don't really necessarily know about?
Oh man, I don't know. We haven't gone to that many cool haunted places. A lot of them are like really nice. Like we went to this one like haunted, dilapidated house near Seattle, or maybe it was in Oregon somewhere, and it was like this
Okay.
nice walk through the park to like a pile of bricks. And it
Really?
was like a really pleasant, sunny day, like fun thing to do. It wasn't very creepy at all. And there was like, oh, that's where the occult stuff happened. And there's like this kind of like basement door with like graffiti, and it was like, all right, you know, had to go at night perhaps to make it
Right.
spooky. But I don't know, nothing, I haven't been like that shocked by anything really, but I haven't seen anything crazy. There's a lot of bucket list items left
Hmm.
unfilled. You got to do some more touring, I think, to live and adjust after that.
What are some of the places you want to hit and go to that you haven't been able to yet? Like, what are your
Hmm.
bucket list places? I've got mine, but what are
Oh
yours?
yeah, okay, okay. Well, so we've been to 25 states now, so we're halfway there. But what I
Right.
didn't realize is that like that's like 50%. 50% of the US is 25 states, and then it gets kind of crazy in that
Right.
southeast area. That's what I want to check out. I really want to go to Nashville and like
Okay.
Florida. You know, oddly, we've never been to Dallas, which is so random 'cause we've been all over there, but never
Huh.
to Dallas. So that's one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like I don't know, Boston and New York. We almost got like New York, like the city in Boston. I want to go, but I don't. I feel like it'd be so busy. I'd be scared, but I gotta see it. I gotta see it, you know.
Right. I mean, obviously New York is one, but for me, I want to see New Orleans.
New
I want
Orleans,
to,
that's a huge one for me too. Yeah. Big
yeah,
time New Orleans.
yeah.
Oh,
New
that'd be so
Orleans is, I just, there, for one, there's so much history there, and between that and
Mhm.
just the voodoo stuff from way back in the day down
Yeah.
there, like that stuff, like, and then for just one of for me, bucket list place. I'm from Iowa. I don't know why I'm in Indiana, but I'm from there. The Villisca Axe Murder House. I have to go to that place one
Mm,
day because I feel like that's a really, really cool place to go to. Um,
pretty savage.
yes. Going back to Mad God though, because that's what we're really here to talk about. And like one of the themes
My God.
that I've really read about is the idea of feeling lonely in a really crowded area and just uh, stuff like that. What is it about that topic that resonates with you?
I mean, yeah, goes into I guess like the people that you find in life or surround yourself with and stuff, you know, kind of like feeling that connection, you know.
Hmm.
And that was yeah, a big part of the song because it's well, I mean, I guess it gets way more complicated in the song itself, but in terms of that, yeah, it's just sort of like a subtlety or something that's not obvious or like it's ironic, you know, you wouldn't think that's possible, I
Hmm.
suppose, but in the right kind of weird off kilter circumstances you can end up there. Um, which yeah is not ideal, you know. You don't want that happening, but it's surprisingly common, especially in like a city, you know.
Hmm.
It's kind of funny if you meet people in the country and they're like, oh, there's just no one around here, nothing to do, you know, blah blah
Right.
blah, and they're like literally no one who lives near them, so you're like, yeah, totally. And then you'll see the same thing with someone in a city in like an apartment with like 100,000 people in it or something weird, and it's just kind of like, you know, it makes sense, it's legit, totally
Hmm.
legit, but very like that coming from I don't know like a existentialist perspective. That's like all the stuff in
Yeah.
the song. It's really an
Hmm.
existentialist perspective. But then yeah, you can look at somebody who lives like alone in the middle of the woods, and then like someone in a city, and they're both equally as lonely or
Yeah.
like yearning for connection. So it's a, you know, funny thing of life, I suppose.
Man, I really love the areas that you go to in the song, and you really, I can tell you really put your full emotions into these lyrics, not just with the song, but all of them.
Oh, thank
Um,
you.
you bet. You the lyrics are they're dark, but they're beautiful at the same time, and it's lyrically heavy as well. How draining
Yeah.
is it for you, if at all, when you're putting that much of yourself and that much of your emotion into those lyrics? Because, man, your lyrics are not just lyrics for the sake of being song lyrics. You can feel what you're feeling when you read the track lyrics.
Oh, thank you, man. That's super super flattering. Yeah, I love doing the lyrics. I love the experience of it. It's fun. Yeah, fun process for me. I don't really like get all up in my own head and I'm like miserable. Like I feel like I'm trying to like explain something and I need to get it like just right. And yeah, it's that kind of like poetic beauty. I think that like poetic beauty or dark beauty kind of is something that I strive for in all the lyrics and in the like deliveries of them as well. But I don't know, it's certainly not draining by any means. Like if anything, I think that it's, you know, I feel like it's on the tip of my tongue all the time until I've written the whole song, and then
Yeah,
it's kind of like okay, I've said, you know, what I needed to say and like explained what I'm trying to explain, you know, and all of it, it all comes from all over the place. Like a lot of the song, well, not a lot of the songs, but some of them I don't even write from like my own experience. It's like someone I know that has experienced something or whatever. And then in the case of Mad God, it was like kind of this. I tried to take the same perspective as the movie, and the movie's like this dystopian thing, but try to look
yeah,
at, you know, normal everyday life through that same lens, you know, and yeah, it's quite a you know dark beauty to a
it
lot of what
is.
goes on in the day to day, you know, and everybody's day to
Yeah,
day. It's an interesting time to be alive, but
yeah.
it's cool. It's really satisfying when I'm done because it's kind of like that's it. That's what that
Yeah.
idea was. You know?
I feel like I've listened to the song itself probably 8 or 9 times today alone because I listened to it
Oh
once.
damn. Oh,
Yes, like just to listen to it to like hear it, but then I had to pull up the lyrics and the words, and I just like I read along as you sang, and I'm like, holy fuck, this is amazing. Like it's so good, you know. So man, I fell in love with it.
thank you, man. Appreciate that.
Will there be a music video?
Will there be? I can't say
Because
right
you do a
now.
lot of them. You guys love the music videos. There's
We
a lot of them.
if Tristan and I have anything to say about it, there will be a music video. But
Nice.
currently no music video,
Okay.
but we'll see. I'll keep you posted on that.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, if there is, hopefully it does the same type of numbers that Marionette did. The numbers that that video grew were
I haven't
absolutely
actually
amazing.
seen it. I haven't even seen it in like a couple weeks actually. That song came out when we were on tour and I like
I
followed it for
did,
like 2
yes.
weeks. And then I haven't what did the numbers get to? I haven't seen it forever.
Man, I'm the same way. I haven't looked in a couple weeks. It was in the 300,000s the last time I knew, the last
Nice.
time I looked. So yeah,
Okay. Sweet.
which is, do you guys have a team that does all of that for you, that posts and handles that, or do you guys do all of the posting, all of the social media work, the video work, and all of that? Like, are you guys
It
obviously
depends.
you guys are with a label, but is it a lot of DIY still?
It depends on what it is. It all kind of falls under these different, like, or sorry, different jurisdictions essentially. So there is a team, and they're all super rad. And then
Okay.
stuff like the Marionette music video, that was all done, like externally from me and Trist, I
Mhm.
suppose. So like
Sure.
they took care of all that. And then me and Trist will do like the actual social media accounts, like you know the posts you see on like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram,
Mhm.
or I guess not Twitter, but
Right.
TikTok. I mean.
TikTok. Do you feel like TikTok's important for a band like you guys? Is it's so, man,
Yeah.
I've never seen a social media platform as polarizing. I thought Twitter was polarizing, but good God, TikTok has that just takes the cake, man. What are your thoughts on, platforms like TikTok where it's just, you know, it's crazy.
My thoughts on TikTok. Love you, TikTok. Please, you know, continue to
They're
be good to us.
listening. They're
Oh,
listening
cool.
right now somehow.
That was the big
Yes.
controversy with TikTok, wasn't it? But it's been
No.
platform has had an interesting growth curve. It when it came out, it was the Wild West, where
Hmm.
like the algorithm, like anything could become viral, and that was kind of like the golden age, which is where we got in, and it
Okay.
became very important to us because like that's so much of our reach and our fans are on
Mhm.
TikTok, and you know that the younger generation, blah blah blah. You've probably heard it all before. You know, it's
Yeah.
kind of just Vine done over,
Hmm.
but no one was doing it, so why not? But it is
Right.
important, you know. It's not really about whether it's Facebook, it's Instagram, or it's TikTok. It's like where are people? You know, 'cause as an artist, you need to reach people, and they're on TikTok, so you better get on TikTok and figure out
Right.
how to speak their language. You know, because that's just the nature of the business. You know, and it's 2024 now, but
That's crazy.
yeah, the team doesn't do all that stuff. The artist
Right.
actually needs to like talk to the fans and keep
Hmm.
things going. And
Yeah.
yeah, and that's I don't know. It's pretty important. TikTok is I don't know, arguably well, it's one of the top three biggest
Yeah.
platforms right now and has been for a while and probably will be for a while yet. So
Yeah. For
it's a big
sure.
one.
What's the rest of the year look for you guys? Obviously, the single is out now because when this post, the single will be released.
Oh, yep, the single is out
Yes,
now.
it's weird. The single is out. But anyway, what's this year look like for you guys?
This year, it's an interesting year. We've got some non-music stuff. We just kind of like incorporated as a business, and we're like doing a lot of the back end things. So you know, it's
Mm,
paperwork, paperwork, paperwork. But then we
right.
got some plans. We got some music going on the side. This is our third song, I believe, to come out of
Mhm.
these new ones. And then yeah, there's some more songs we're working on, and then yeah, we're gonna hit the road again
That's
at some
awesome.
point. So we're working on all that stuff, getting everything figured out. Like I said, it's all paperwork, paperwork,
Right.
paperwork over
Yeah,
here, numbing us out. But we're excited to hit the road with some new stuff and go back to
that's
some
awesome.
places we love and hopefully some new places.
Yes, hopefully, because I know you guys came to Fort Wayne last year. I didn't even know about the show until recently, so I was not able to go. But
Oh,
hopefully you hit Indiana this year because man, I want to hear this stuff live. I want to see the show. I want to see this stuff in person and experience the full thing, man. Because this
hell yeah,
it's
man.
it's so good, man. Thank you so much for taking time. Thank you for the music. You guys don't get thanked by fans enough for the music itself. Thank you for the song, for the music, what you do, and have a great 24. I'll see you this year, I'm sure.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much for having me, Reggie.
You got it, man. Take care. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, cheers, brother.
Thank you.